Thank you very much, Honorable Ramdani, please.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity to address to the House on what I would qualify as the mastermind of the Honorable Minister of Finance under the able leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, the world is facing testing times following the COVID-19, the war between Ukraine and Russia, and the lack of visibility as a result. This government is working tirelessly to ensure that there is continuity in development, protection, and well-being of its people, and ensuring the economic recovery through diligent measures. This budget, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, as explained by the Honourable Prime Minister, was a very complex exercise given the current context worldwide. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, yesterday morning, I listened to the leader of the opposition who debated on the appropriation bill, and he stated, he being the Minister of Finance in 2012 and his leader, they work for the people. But let me show to you a infamous newspaper titled Budget 2012, les syndicalistes trouvent que Luc Savetival favorise le secteur privé. Let me quote some person. Tulsirat Benidine, dirigeant de la NTUC, déplore qu'il appelle un manque de considération pour les travailleurs. Nous sommes déçus. Nous nous attendions à plus de mesures pour les employés, une politique de création de l'emploi. Par exemple, nous ne savons toujours pas quel est le seuil du salaire minimal, affirme-t-il. M. Radhakrishna Sadyan, président de la GSA, affirme que c'est le privé qui obtient la large part de la budget. Concernant la formation des fonctionnaires, je pense que le gouvernement doit garder le contrôle et ne pas privatiser, soutient-il. And then at the end, la Confédération de travailleurs du secteur privé, CTSP, qui a suivi les budgets de siège à Rosil, est également d'avis que le ministre Duval se range du côté du secteur privé. Jane Ragou, la présidente de ce syndicat, avance que Xavier Luc Duval n'a fait que confirmer qu'il est un agent du secteur privé. Moi je dis, l'honorable Mohamed, here you are criticizing the Honorable Minister Oduyal. Let me tell you, with your limited intelligence of your leader and the Minister of Finance, the people threw you out in 2014, and you are still in Karokan. And secondly, Mr. Speaker, sir, let me also quote. The leader of the opposition is telling that l'Alliance des Désespoirs is a quick fix solution. Let me quote from Hansard, from his colleague, Honorable Bhagwan, when he's not here. Let me quote, Mr. Speaker, sir, the exemption of duties on shampoo, deodorant, démaquillant, teinture à ongles won't change the life of people. Shampoo, there is not even water. So let not us discuss on that. The working class is very deceived. This is a type of budget the leader of opposition was doing, and now he is criticizing this government for the good job that the Prime Minister and the Minister of Finance is doing. Let me again cite the Honorable Mohammed just cited Lee Kuan Yew as recipe to my colleague Honorable Oduyal. Let me remind Honorable Osman that Honorable Ordial has the best political recipe. Just ask your leader, whom he sent in Karokan during the last election. His recipe is a social work. Love for the people, help the people day and night. And he started at grassroots level of the village council and chairman of the district council, so many occasionally, continuously working hard for the people of constituency number 10. And I'm from Port as PPS over there. So I will come again. I will get a chance to apply to Honorable Mahomed again. Let me come back, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir. I must admit that many of us were admirably surprised to see the bold measures announced by the Honorable Minister of Finance in his budget, and as rightly termed, with the people for the people. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, my address to the House will be threefold, namely, a budget for everyone, my constituency as PPS number 6 and 10, and tantrums of the opposition members. Mr. Speaker, sir, this budget caters for every segment of the Mauritian population. The Honorable Minister of Finance has been very meticulous in his approach and ensured that through this budget, no one was left behind. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this budget is a budget for continuity, and it clearly shows the will and the ability of this government under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister to double our effort to ensure a successful economic recovery, despite a lack of clarity in the international scene. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I wish to place on record that I am proud to be part of this government, which has shown time and again it is working for its people, and we walk the talk. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this government, as a caring government, through the Honorable Minister of Finance, has taken bold measures, just to name a few: increase in pension, CSG, retirement benefit, income allowance, housing scheme, reduction in income tax, maintaining gas cylinder price and bread price. And talking about cylinder price, as per Honorable Onkechi, if you ask a question in the parliament, it means literally that you have done the work. So I will ask one question myself. Where were you when the gas cylinder was 340 rupees? Not on the street, but in the parliament, tap la tab. Abolition of municipal tax, extension of the basic widow pension to the Muslim widows, increasing the daily bad weather allowance for fishers from 445 to 555, incentive to planters to boost local production of fruits and vegetables, and a prime à l'emploi. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, 350,000 individuals will obtain a monthly income allowance. 300,000 individuals will see an increase in their pension. 189,000 youth will receive a passport culture. 169,000 retirees will get a CSG retirement benefit. 110,000 households will no longer pay the municipal tax on their residence. 100,000 income taxpayers will have more money in their pocket. 18,000 households will benefit from an increased support under the social aid and the SRM. 13,000 families will receive a baby bonus. 10,000 individuals will now earn a CSG disability allowance, and 10,000 youth and women will be eligible to a prime à l'emploi. We are sensitive to the plight of our people. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, this is why, under the guidance of our leader, and the Prime Minister, this government has gone the extra mile to provide relief to our people from all segments of our population. Further, the budget provides incentive to SMEs and business in general to sustain the drive to be back in business after the successive lockdowns. I have been around and met people of different walks of society in my constituency over the past few days, and I'm pleased to state in this House that there is a feel-good factor among the people. This budget and its compassionate dimension has sensibly restored the purchasing power of households in an increase in their disposable income, either directly through increase in pension and wages or through weighted measures in taxation policy. One of the extra-parliamentary voices has rightly stated that this is a budget that created wins for all amidst uncertainties in the price of fuel and instability in supply and price of commodities. My constituency as PPS, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, I will now turn to what this government has achieved, and I will, at my level of my constituency, and we will have projects in 2022-2023 in my constituency also under Indian Grant Assistance for implementation of high-impact community development projects. I hereby express my gratitude and that of my constituents to the Indian High Commission and the Government of India. In this year's budget, the Honourable Minister of Finance earmarked an amount of 3.8 billion in the next fiscal year to continue the National Flood Management Programme, out of which 69 million is earmarked at Ville, Petchirafre and Pudo village, and 179 million at Bramstan, Sans Souci, Aude, Montagne-Blanche, and Clémentia. And as my colleague and you yourself, Deputy Speaker, and the Honourable Bola, are aware of how many projects have been implemented in constituency number 10. I will come to constituency number 6, Fond-du-Sac. Despite testing times, we did not remove regional development from our agenda, which remain amongst our priorities, and I am pleased to report to the House that the major drain project at Fond-du-Sac is nearly completed. Our constituents in Fond-du-Sac will also benefit from a market fair in 2022-2023. An agreement is on the way for the release of 4 empans of land from Compagnie Montchoisie Limitée in view of this project. The Pamplemousse District Council will implement the market fair project. 1 billion rupees will be invested in water distribution pipes project, including replacement of pipes in Fond-du-Sac. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Sir, Grand Bay, the people of Mauritius know very well how important the sea and the beaches are to one of the pillars of our economy, which is the tourism industry, and constituency number 6 form an integral part of it. We must not forget about the importance of looking after the well-being of our nature. In this context, the Beach Management Plan Phase 1 at Public Beach Montchoisie in my constituency was inaugurated on 9 April 2022. And now in this budget, provision has also been made for implementation of Beach Management Plan at Grand Bay. Many infrastructural advances are being implemented, such as renovation of the local health center dispensaire at Grand Bay is near completion and soon will be available for the public. In order to make traffic more fluid in Grand Bay, more particularly in Sunset Boulevard, a lay-by for bus has already been started. An envelope of more than 5 million has been allocated by the government to start this project for the safety of users of the road, whereby the current bus stop is very busy. Furthermore, some 1.1 billion will be provided for the implementation of sewage infrastructure projects in various regions, including Grand Bay. Distribution has already been started in the context of the celebration of Environment Day at Grand Bay. Drain project Road Grand Bay will start shortly. New consultancy is already working at Concarol, Grand Bay by NU. And this is because of our Honorable Minister Bobby Ram that is working diligently on these projects. Beach Authority will be restructuring the beach at Pointe Canonier, implementation of mini soccer pitch at Sochi through Indian grant. Resurfacing of several roads at Grand Bay, Pointe Canonier, Pérébert has already been undertaken by the NDU. Pododo Village, the fruitful collaboration of the NDU and other stakeholders ensures the completion of the terminus near Pudo Hospital, which was long overdue, thanks to the Honorable Minister Ganu and my colleague Avinash Tilak. Drain solution at Cité EDC and Bois d'Oiseau, Pudo village are in the making, and the NDU will implement projects in these localities in a very short term. Renovation of religious places like Arya Sabha has already been completed. With regard to resurfacing of road, we have completed all the projects earmarked in fiscal year 2021-2022. Moreover, Mr. Deputy Speaker, provision has been made for a new community health center at Ville. My running mate for constituency number 6, the Honorable Minister of Art and Cultural Heritage, will be particularly pleased to know that 20 million has been earmarked for the setting up of the National Art Center, including a recording studio at Réunion Morel, Petit-Rafré, and inhabitants of Petit-Rafré will soon get their bin. Mr. Deputy Speaker, Sir, Goodland Village, I am pleased to know that provision has been made for construction of mini soccer pitch at Saint-Antoine, Goodland by NDU. Let me enumerate some upcoming infrastructural advancement. Construction of multipurpose hall will soon be started by local authorities in collaboration with NDU. Leveling and turfing of Belair football ground at Goodlands is welcomed by the youth of the region. New market fair at Goodland, renovation of Belmont Cemetery. In addition, the CWA is installing water tanks in localities with water issues, and I'm pleased to know that 3 water tanks have been placed in a plot of state land released by the NDU. This, Mr. Speaker, Sir, Deputy Speaker, Sir, will provide relief to localities such as Mamzezan and Triang at Goodland. I wish to place on record my sincere thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister and other colleague minister for listening to our representations and helping in improving the life of our constituents. Mr. Speaker, Sir, Grand Gobe, Melville, the people of Goodland, Grand Gobe, and other localities will benefit from the intra-locality connectivity following the completion of Kali Road, which is a link road from Melville to Goodlands, especially when the new market fair at Goodlands will become operational in the near future. An envelope of 7 million has been allocated to the NDU for the redevelopment of the Grand Gobe crematorium, which has long been neglected. The work has already started this week and will last a month. The inhabitants of neighboring villages such as Rochetea, Melville, Kalojin also use this crematorium for the cremation of their deceased, and it will comprise of structures like shelter, wall, garbage can, among others will be reviewed, and water tank will be installed. Resurfacing of roads such as Aryamandi Road has already been completed. Rochetea, provision has been made in this budget for the football ground and multi-purpose hall at Rochetea village, reprofiling of the main road, which is an ongoing project, and renovation of Mandir, Ram Krishna Mandir. Upcoming projects of local health center, which will be funded by the Indian grant at Cap Malere, reprofiling of the dangerous curve at Pavillon Cap Malere with drain and pavement will be soon be implemented. Mr. Speaker, Sir, Deputy Speaker, Sir, the voice of the people is the voice of God. The electorate has spoken in November 2019 and chose this government based on its electoral manifesto. The recent incidents that we witnessed are not per hazard. There has been, since November 9, 2019, a continuous effort by some members of the opposition to incite the population to create a false narrative around the organization of the election, motion of no confidence, and social unrest, and so on. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, with COVID-19, economies are struggling worldwide, but Mauritius has been recognized as one of the few countries where the government has supported its people. There is a series of bold measures which have been taken under the leadership of the Honorable Prime Minister, namely the Wage Assistance Scheme, Self-Employed Assistance Scheme, Minimum Wage, Negative Income Tax, Old Age Pension, Portable Retirement Gratuity Fund, subsidies on various items, just to name a few. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, some members of the opposition are trying to surf on this government's bold decision, claiming that it's the result of their pressure, and then a few minutes later, criticizing the budget. They should decide once and for all which is which. There are no two ways about it. Mr. Speaker, sir, little do these members of the opposition know that the Mauritian population is intelligent enough to decipher who is pretending to work and who is actually working for the betterment of this nation. The attitude of the opposition confirms their anti-patriotic intention and hidden political agenda to try to destabilize the government for personal gain. The bold measures taken by this government is ensuring that our economy is getting back on track despite the agenda of the opposition members who are in electoral campaign in permanence. Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, if former Prime Minister who fooled the population by his slogan, la vie dans son jour, and we all know whose life he really changed, Lady NS. And now he is giving lesson to this government on pension. Let me tell him, it is this government which increased the pension to 5,000 rupees in 2014, and 9,000 in 2019, and now gradually increasing even more. Since from the start, I am listening to the opposition orators, particularly of the Labour Party. They are using Gandhi philosophies and Sanskrit. My honorable friend, no, not honorable member, said one thing to my colleague, supposedly to Bobby Ayram, Vinash Kale Viprit Buddhi. But let me tell you, this is for your leader. This applies to your leader, not to a young honorable member who is working for the country. And I'm not finished. I'm not finished. Hearing all the lies of Honorable Shakil Mohammed.
Honorable Mohammed. Order. Honorable Mohammed. Honorable Mohammed. Let's have a break.